United Lutheran Seminary presents the Seminary Explores podcast, conversations on faith, art, people, politics, theology, life, and more, with voices from around the corner and around the globe. Welcome to the Seminary Explores. I'm Katie Giebenhein. My guest is Chris Lauer. Chris is an artist and co-founder and proprietor of Waldo's and Company, a nonprofit arts collective fostering community, creativity, and culture in Gettysburg. Located in the basement of Lark on the square in downtown, it is a coffee house, an event space, a collection of studio spaces, and a welcoming space to work on all kinds of projects. This corner of the world supports music, spoken word, visual art, and many kinds of collaboration. Chris, welcome to the Seminary Explores.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us about one of the big events that you had this winter?
Oh gosh, which event?
There's been so much going on.
There's been a lot in this season. This is, yes. Our Christmas show. Well, that was probably the last major event that we had. Mm-hmm. And we've done this one 3 years in a row. I mean, we typically bring in a great touring artist, pair them with a local band, mm-hmm. and show them off to Gettysburg. But the Christmas show, we go a little bit farther. So we've got some folks that put together our Waldo's Merry Band, which is just, there might have been 8 or 10 musicians in there, all of volunteers, board members, just people that hang out. Uh-huh. And I do a couple Christmas carols, pop songs. We had a young guy shredding Metallica style or metal style Carol of the Bells. It was quite fun.
Excellent.
There's a two-headed Santa, and we just kind of like to, I don't know, make people feel like a kid again. Uh-huh. And we make presents for we don't make presents. We give presents to everyone that comes in the door. Uh-huh. They're horrible. We wrap up the lost and found. We wrap up old books. We wrap up whatever we can find. We had a donation of a whole bunch of CDs from like the early 2000s, which were equally great and horrible. And we gave those away just because it's really nice to get a gift on Christmas and feel part of a thing. So that was our last major event. Mm-hmm. And it went off really well. We had a lot of people here. And then after that, we just take a nice break for January and February. But
yes, get the batteries
mm-hmm.
restarted.
Mm-hmm.
You have an interesting collection of folks here. I mean, there's Gettysburg College students, the resident artists in the national parks, which you've been such a lovely site for them to sort of come and go, and it's almost a bit of a home away from home that they get to know that Waldo's is here. Tourists, local artists, as a kind of you're like a sort of host and convener in the midst of this, right? Yeah. Do you have some observations about, this kind of particular mix? I mean, Gettysburg's a special place, and I was just wondering what some of, as someone who gets to sort of see this coming and going, what are some of your observations?
Well, Gettysburg to me is one of the most unique places I've ever been. I've traveled a lot. I was mm-hmm. a vagabond all around the States for a long time. And Gettysburg is just this perfect mix of all my favorite things. You've got a small town, which I love small town. I love walking down the street and seeing 10 people you know. Mm-hmm. That's just, it's a really neat connected feeling, a sense of home. But then it's not cut off. It's not, it's still part of the national conversation. We have an influx mm-hmm. of people all the time. We've got students, we've got tourists. We are, in the dead center of several major cities, and it's still, I don't know, it's still on the stage. It's still on the world stage. So it's not like, I don't know. But for especially people like me and transplants that were travelers or coming from other places, this town has a really neat sense of home very quickly. And I don't know exactly how that works, but with how very small it is, mm-hmm. and the fact that it can't really grow, it can't get any bigger, mm-hmm. You walk into this thing, and immediately you kind of feel like you know it. You feel like you know some people, and if you're a weary traveler like me, that was very quickly, this is home now. And this felt like home very, very soon. So I think it catches transplants in that way, which is really neat. And of course we have the draw of the battlefield. Of course we have the draw of the college. So it brings in just this crazy cultural mix to a tiny town.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's super unique. It's not, a few ideologies still living out in a small microcosm.
Very well put.
Thank you. Yeah, it probably could be a little bit more concise, but it's unique.
Why don't you tell us something about the artwork that you do? I mean, I know you're working in different media, but maybe if you could talk a bit about yourself as an artist.
Well, I have a really hard time sticking with one medium, which is maybe not a problem. I love to learn new ways of doing art, which means that I know how to do many different types, but I may not be great at any of them. So it's perfect for this space. I can learn a lot. I can teach a lot. But I am often... I think I took myself very seriously in college. When I went to college for a couple of years, dropped out of, not art school, just a university studying art.
Okay, so you were an art major at university. Okay.
Yep, University of Minnesota, Duluth. So I took myself very, very seriously. If you're gonna present yourself, you have to say something important. And after a time, I got really tired of trying to think of something important. And I thought, man, what if people could just relax? People could just look at something and rest for a second. Or look at something and find something kind of silly or humorous or nonsensical. I think I like some visual whimsy. And I like things that just... we can relax for a second instead of trying to be so serious. Occasionally, though, I do want to communicate something. So sometimes I do that. But playing with kind of pop icons sometimes, or illustrated bright colors.
And you work with a lot of materials too, and also quite a bit of printmaking. But
I'm in printmaking now.
Okay.
But talk to me in a year. I'll probably be on something else. So printmaking now. Previously, I was really into three-dimensional resin sculptures, which was really fun. I kind of got into just building sculptural things with foam core and paint and covering it in resin. It has a really neat effect. And I did that for a year or two, and maybe got bored and then moved on. But before that was primarily painting, murals. And with the murals that I have done, some of them were co-op murals, projects with other people. But I often like taking very big expanses and just painting one simple image. I don't throw a lot of complexity in it. I don't think I'm a complex visual person. So I'll take an 80-foot wall and just paint clouds. Because I think it's just nice. It's relaxing.
Well, and I think now, especially when I think about being a viewer of art, I am glad when I feel like I can just take in something like that. And when you mentioned whimsy too, I think that's an interesting point, because sometimes people think much more about what they want to kind of put out there sort of from one direction, instead of thinking about also what artwork do you like to see, and what moves you, and that's a variety of things. But it can't, if it's all feels so weighty and always so important, then that's there's also a pleasure should be there at least sometimes, and it's nice to. And the other thing is when you're looking at things that are also just surprising or interesting or just lovely for the way the marks are made or the material, or it's aesthetically nice, then also you're ready for the impact of something serious if you're not always that's not what you're always doing, right? So I really appreciate that you also recognize
we don't need to approach all art like it's some puzzle we have to figure out the mind of the artist. We just appreciate it. I mean, it stands on its own now that the artist has painted it. It's out there. So it stands on its own. It's just you and the art piece. Put in it what you like. We don't have to spend time dissecting it so much. I don't know. I feel like it just adds this whole level of complexity and maybe intimidation, and it doesn't need to be there. You can just visually see something and appreciate it. Yeah.
And the space here. So since this is a podcast, right?
Right. This is my first time on a podcast.
Oh, all right.
This is exciting.
Well, we're delighted. I mean, this is just a magical space down here. Would you mind doing a brief, like, descriptive tour of Waldo's? Like, just kind of describe for a minute. Say, like, okay, this is... So start with coming down the stairs from Lark.
All right, well, first off, coming down the stairs from Lark is not the main entrance to me. That's like if you have to go in through Lark, you can go in through Lark. But
Good
of course,
point.
we have this back alley entrance, and I love being a back alley entrance. It's this like kind of Hogwarts-ish. You got to find it from somewhere that no one can see.
And you also feel like you could be in also any other city too,
Yes.
just for like a couple of blocks, right?
Yeah. This is not a historic. I mean, really, if you just take a look at our back alleys, it does feel like you're anywhere. It does feel like you're in some larger, expansive city. You're not, but that's okay. Yeah, so it's this kind of secret entrance, takes a little guts to get in here. But once you get in, it's a much larger space than you expect. We've got this coffee bar, the coffee bar side of what we do, several of us have been in the coffee world for years. I've been in it since I was, 18, which means many years. And that's also it's a passion of ours that we could employ to make the space work. So we roast our coffee, we make stuff from scratch, and we've learned how to do that, I think, really well to put out a good menu. And it subsidizes the space, which is really handy. So we take a couple of our passions and just put them together to make it a little bit more functional. But okay, visually, if you come in from the back alley, it's this small door, and as you walk into the left, we've got a coffee bar that is, it's pieced together from reclaimed wood and what was that? Ducting, sheeting, and I'm saying it really rudimentarily. It looks very nice, but we've had to learn how to take free things and cheap things and make something really neat out of them. So we've got a really cool bar to the left, which is where I spend most of my time. And that enters it. If you go to look to the right, it's our concert space or just our kind of community living room, which is the phrase we use a lot. So it is a coffee bar, but it doesn't operate in the same way in that you can come in here and hang out, and there's no pressure to buy a thing. And if you do buy a thing, it's all a suggested donation anyways. So we get a lot of people just spending time and that's fine. So we got couches, lots of couches. And around the corner, we've got our bookstore and gallery, which has a few other built-in spots just to sit and hang out and read. Of course, there's Wi-Fi for those that need it. But it's starting to get visually pretty packed with art and postcards and posters for shows and just little knickknacks and things that get stuck in the walls and the rafters. So visually, it's a lot to take in. We've also got a section just of art that we've made that is for sale. We've got the t-shirts and mugs and things that we make here, and we can sell those and support our artists, which is nice. Every month I get to write out a check for artists that have sold things, and it feels good. Then we go around the corner through the bookstore. Basically, we've got two long channels in here. One side is mostly studios. The other side is mostly concert venue space. But if you go in the back, there's 6 art studios, about 12 by 12 spaces, and people have 24-hour access to them. They rent them out on a year lease, and we have had the same artists for a really long time.
Which speaks well for the space.
Yeah, it's really good. And it helps develop community. It helps develop a space identity. And I mean, they're talented people that we like supporting. But more than that, we also have what we call the trade shop. So the trade shop is the space outside of those studio doors that has a whole bunch of art equipment. And this is, you can see it from the concert venue space. You can see it from anywhere. But it includes darkroom photography. It includes ceramics with a kiln. And we've got screen printing, letterpress printing, block printing, dry point etching, paper making, like all of this equipment that we've kind of amassed that anyone can play with. And so the studio artists, they can play with that at any time. But if you, as just a Gettysburg native or a student, want to come learn, we have just a certification. We teach everybody how everything works. And then for as little as like $25 a month, you can play with all of our equipment. So if you've ever wanted to try letterpress and don't want to spend $3,000 on a letterpress, you can just play. And we kind of encourage a not so intimidating just sense of play, sense of trial and error, sense of you put some clay on a wheel and you see what it does. You try again and see if it does anything else. Like, it doesn't need to be this very scary thing with weight and judgment and any of that. It's play.
And it's lovely because, you know, these impulses are so human, right? And it used to be that you could just build things, make things, whether you're drawing it inside of a cave wall or whatever. So these impulses that I feel like as adults now we often get in each other's way because there's so much kind of, as you said, judgment, criticism, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it's always really fantastic to hear about situations where you're just getting back to the, you know, to the basics and that's really welcoming with a capital W, right?
Yeah.
It's like, give it a try.
Yeah. It's inconsequential. It's okay.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah,
failure happens.
Yeah.
And it's how we learn a lot of things.
Yes.
I've been told that I like failure more than other people, which might be true. But it motivates me. Like, you try something, it doesn't work, you just want to know how it's going to work. Mm-hmm. So I'm often encouraging, like, trial and error. That's all that art is. That's all that a lot of things are. You try it and see if it works. If it didn't, try again. I don't know how else to learn things.
I also find that I have much more appreciation, like if I'm trying something with a different material or something like that, then, you know, when you're seeing the work of others, you know, people who are really used to working in a certain media then you have like much more appreciation too. It's like, wow. So yeah. I know all of the steps that were involved with this. And so it's about your own work, but it's also about the way that you see and appreciate what other people are doing, right? Or mm-hmm. if you're then using different materials, then there's still things that that you learn that you can still carry over, right? Because you're still the way that you're putting things together. There's still sort of. Do you find that to be the case? Or
yeah, I definitely learn things through cross medium or mm-hmm. through like seeing how other people play with things. I think, I could take that and twist it a little bit and use it in this. Yeah, definitely. Now I have the problem that now I see trial and error so much that I don't bother sometimes looking up what other people have done already.
Okay.
So I'm just reinventing it all over
uh-huh.
again, which I like sometimes. Mm-hmm. I could have wasted a whole bunch of time. But like block printing, mm-hmm. I knew the concept of block printing. It's stamping. Mm-hmm. That's all it really is. Uh-huh. So we at the old place, we didn't have any equipment. Mm-hmm. For the record, we had an old warehouse space that mm-hmm. was just a warehouse space. Mm-hmm. And like adult clubhouse building, which was really fun, but also a mess. But I didn't have a press. I didn't have any of that stuff. I just carved some wood up and I hinged it to a table and sat on it. And it worked. Uh-huh. You press some ink on it and it transfers onto something. And you kind of build from there. And you figure, well, how do I make this better? And I had a friend, my friend Wallner, came over with this design for building a different press. And we built a different press and it worked really well. And now we have some other press here, but I just like to learn all of it. And I probably could start much farther along the line if I ever bothered to look up what other people have done, but what fun is that? Anyways.
So, and I just wanted to know too if there's another example. You've talked about like one of the bigger events that you do. You have a lot of mm-hmm. small events and big, throughout the year. A really, really interesting mix of stuff. Is there also one other observation you might want to share with us about in this process of creating this kind of community living room? And in some ways it also feels a bit like a sort of artist parsonage to me, right? You know, mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of the vibe that I always get from Waldo's, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, I like it.
Is there an example of something that has really, really surprised you, or something that you like really did not expect, and whether that's negative or positive, or just what's in this experience? What's something that you really did not expect to happen?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm trying to think of things that have surprised me. I mean, a lot has surprised me. The fact that we're still here surprises me.
Well, that's something.
And it's going well. It's going well. I'm continually surprised at the relational bridges that have created between the college and town, which was something we were intentional about. We wanted to see happen, but I'm still very surprised at them becoming friends, them dating, them becoming roommates.
Yeah.
It's something that I never saw in this town before this was a thing. I mean, I'm sure it happened, but I would actively discuss with students, and they would say things like, well, no, we don't really interact with townies. And they would want to see it happen, I'd want to see it happen, and it never really came together. And so we've got this space that is definitely an intersection now between the two that is sober, which I think is probably part of the problem. A sober place where we're interacting and having conversations. So I'm always really excited when I see students and townsfolk just like talking, conversing, being friends. We have coming up, there's I guess we're not sponsoring that. That's a rental. But still, we have a meeting between the LGBT community at the college and the LGBT community in town. It's just coming together to hang out and meet each other. That's good. Really neat. And we're just this kind of neutral space in between.
Because there can be sometimes these parallel meetings, right? You know, things happening next to each other, but not really. That's excellent.
Yeah, I really like that. And then the volunteer community that we've had is always surprising. We've got really awesome, committed volunteers that I don't know why they keep coming back. You know, when I'm really honest, I'm like, why are you doing this? But they, every week for years, come and they put in a shift at the bar, they work on bookstore stuff. And I'm not giving them any money. I don't know. And they've developed this community of like friendship between themselves, and it's just fun. And then they've got their night, their Thursday night or their Wednesday night that they work behind the bar, and there are people that come to see them. That's just fun. I love the community stuff, obviously. I also love it when people connect with like a medium or something that they wanted to learn and never did, or just kind of connect and say, oh, this is what I want to do now. One of our volunteers is now just like connected with screen printing. He's been trying to like find some art form that he wanted to play with, and screen printing is just connected. And now he's a good screen printer. It's fun to see, you know. Wow. He's growing and he's learning, and I'm excited about that.
Well, thank you for providing this space. Yeah. And you know, there's so much that you're aware of, but there's probably so many encounters here too that you're not necessarily sure. I think it's exponentially bigger than you're even aware of, probably. You know, these connections. So,
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, we on the board, there's so many people that are involved. I mean, we've got a board of directors of 12 people, and there's been a few others in the past, and they have put a lot of work in behind the scenes and like up front in getting this place up and running and functional and legal and all those things. And really, it's myself, I would have sat in the warehouse and just kept doing art forever with some ideology of, oh, this could be neat someday. But this group of people was the one that really pushed this and said we can be a lot more. I think really because of them, to their credit, that this has become something that can last. And that's been cool.
And it's an active collaboration that brought about the space for further collaborations.
Yeah.
Well, there's the Waldo's website is www.waldosandco, so that's spelled out, waldosandco.com. Please check out the website. They've also got a Facebook page for upcoming events, and come by to visit Waldo's. It's really a special place. You've been listening to The Seminary Explores. I'm Katie Giebenhein, and my guest has been Chris Lauer from Waldo's and Company in downtown Gettysburg. Chris, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have been listening to The Seminary Explores, a production of United Lutheran Seminary with campuses in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We invite you to visit our website at unitedlutheranseminary.edu. opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of United Lutheran Seminary or the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America.